Is it up? Do we have live stream? Hey everyone, Mike Rosehart here. We are trying something brand new. I have my brand new lens and camera hooked right in direct. We have direct Cat 6 right to my internet provider. We're gonna go streaming 1080p. So the audio should be super crisp. We have Rode mic here in the frame. Sorry about that, guys. There we go, we'll move that over. This is an experiment. So the first minute of this is just gonna be us messing around. Hey Tommy, how you doing? Welcome to the live stream. I got the laptops down here with the multiple screens, so I'm able to watch. Hey, how's it going, G1 Mercury? So you guys can hopefully see me loud and clear. You can see the whiteboard behind me once I get in there. Hey Tommy, appreciate that so much. Thanks everyone who's watching and everyone's gonna watch the playback. Thank you so much for supporting me. In the last few months, we've gone from basically no subscribers to 2,000 subs, and it's growing every day. We're getting lots of views on the videos we're creating. So I'm really, really thankful for all of you guys for tuning in and for watching. Hey Cassie, how you doing? We are trying the 1080p. So I don't know if you guys, can you see how crisp my face is? Is it coming in 1080p for you guys? I've streamed with gigabit internet. So we've got the gig internet connection direct wired in, not over Wi-Fi, directly into the computer. I'm hoping this setup with dual mics, we got the Rode mic here. We've got also my lapel mic, that if I get up and go right on this board back here, let's do a little test. I'm wireless, so I should be able to walk. Now, theoretically, the camera should find me back here, and you guys should be able to get focus on here, although our lighting might be throwing things off. Can you still see me back here? Does the camera follow me? Looks like it does. So we've got everything set up. We got our lighting kits. They're reflecting a bit on the back whiteboard, but the way this camera is designed is sort of an Art Sigma lens. And so what it does is creates a super crisp vlog style chat with you and I. And as I move back, my background will go from blurry and out of focus to in focus, right? And so hopefully it's following me back and you guys will be able to see things like, thank you so much for 2,000 subscribers. Welcome to the Wise Wealth Show every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. If the audio is kicking out, we're getting some issues, let me know. We have 2 mics going in through a preamp, so I don't know if that's going to affect the sound. I'm hoping that you guys can see. I see in the chat here some awesome people are joining in. Hey Aiden, how you doing? Cassie, Michael Chung, Runny86, how you doing? Tommy, G1 Mercury. We've got a lot of the regulars on here. Lay out some questions. I hope you bring me some value. Don't mind if you just fire them off here. Yeah, please go ahead and shoot the questions off. Happily answer all those questions. Today I want to talk a little bit about what I've been up to and cost control. I think cost control is often overlooked in the business world and specifically in the personal world. I see too many people outsourcing their daily life. They're outsourcing their laundry. They're outsourcing, they're like, oh, I don't want to make dinner tonight. Let's hire it out. Oh, I don't want to cut my own hair. Let's hire that out. They're hiring all of these things out, and they're missing the beauty of being a Renaissance person. And I think there's a lot of value there. In the business world, a lot of us don't focus on cost control. There's this mentality where, oh, it's just a write-off. Let's spend extra on this business trip because it's a write-off. Oh, let's spend extra on whatever. We'll buy a $10,000 computer. Instead of being thrifty and spending a half hour of your time to be a little bit more frugal and find the exact same computer for $8,000, in the business world, no one cares about cost. I see it all the time. It's the reason commercial contractors charge $80 an hour. It's why it costs $8 to screw in a light bulb. It's the reason it's this inefficiency in the marketplace because people don't manage their bottom line. Everyone's focused on growing sales, on growing revenue, and no one's focused on cost control. But truth be told, the way to build real wealth and grow your net worth is by focusing on cost control. So I want to talk a little bit about that today. Hopefully some questions come in about some of the things that I do well to maximize cost control. For one, like this haircut, you guys saw like a bushy, curly hair growing for a while there. And that was, mostly because I just was too lazy to go around and get a haircut. But we went and got the haircut at home. We have our own pair of buzzers I got on Amazon for like $30. The regular $70. Spending like 20 minutes of time to find it, get it here. Now I can cut my own hair. And like my hair doesn't look that bad. And we tried to do a little blend job. It's not perfect, but I see some nice questions come up on the chat. Just trying to monitor things. Hey Batel, how you doing? Welcome. Hopefully everyone's getting the stream. You can choose to watch it in 1080p. You can choose to watch it in a lower setting. I'm hoping that it's able to keep up. There should be a little bit of a delay because we're shooting in for quality. We've decided to, hey, super chat, woohoo! That's cool. Thank you, Aiden. Appreciate that so much. Aiden, I owe you. I saw your emails come in today. I'm gonna look at that stuff there and get back to you on that. I promise. Saw some of the layouts. They look really cool. very trendy. So I don't know if I can optimize much more than you've optimized that layout, but I think there's some things that I could share and some value I could add in that respect. But let me know, guys, if you're seeing everything in 1080p quality. Is the sound keeping up with the video? Because we have the audio going in separately to the video, so I'm trying to just kind of test a little. You guys are my feedback loop, so let me know how this is going. We're gonna get into the juice. We're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of our typical Wise Wealth discussion, which typically revolves around real estate, but can also revolve around personal finance and etc. Okay, looking good, shiny equipment. Thank you, Cassie. Hayden says he's live. Kira Kondo, how you doing? What's up, Mike? Your channel's always getting better for sure. Kira, thank you so much. I appreciate that comment. I'm trying. We're trying really hard. I have Kyle here as well. We're working really, really hard to get better equipment, to learn how to do things with newer software, to give you guys better quality and overall better content, because it's easier for you guys to digest. And by the way, is it better if I speak into the Rode mic, or is it better if my lapel mic just picks it up? Let me know, guys. We're just experimenting, trying new things. I would love that feedback. Again, this is the first stream we've done that isn't from like an iPhone. So this is the first real stream directly into the internet through wired cable, through a computer, using a proper lens. Okay. Any real estate books you recommend? Alex, that's a great question. There are a few great resources that I like when I'm looking at investing in real estate, and one of them is biggerpockets.com. Huge fan. Someday I hope to be on their podcast. Got to get out there and update my account now and send them a message. So I'd love to join their podcast. They are fantastic. Watch that, listen to that podcast. Find it on YouTube. There's a bunch of other places you can find it. So that's a great place to go and find that. Aiden, that's so cool. I got a super chat today. Yay. Okay, sounds better through the lapel mic. Okay, lapel is good. Everyone's getting better reception through the lapel. Now, if I talk through here, do you guys, how does that sound? Is it better? Maybe it's just a little quiet. Let me adjust the mixer volume there. See if that does anything. Okay, yeah, so that's a great place. Check in my description too. I talk about a couple of my favorite books. One of them is Early Retirement Extreme. There are a lot of principles in that book that are, I think, transferable to the business world too. If you can run your personal life like an efficient, mean, lean business machine, and then take those principles and apply them to your business, whether it's real estate, whether you're selling something, drop shipping, whether you have like a landscaping business, you can apply a lot of these cost-efficient principles to deliver things in a better way. You can provide your customers more value. It's just awesome. I'm a big fan of cost control, big fan of reducing and being more efficient in getting things done. That's the key thing there. Okay, everyone says sounds good wherever you are. Appreciate that. Sounds a little weird in the main mic. Weird. Okay. Is it better if I talk through here? We have the dual sounds. I wonder if they're conflicting through the preamp. We've got settings. I can turn the dials on each one over here in the preamp. Now, if I talk in the Rode mic, I'm supposed to talk at the Rode mic, I think. So we'll do. This is a test run, but I don't know. Hopefully we get better as we go. The feedback, again, so important. So if sound cuts out, guys, if the video isn't keeping up, I'd love to hear about that. Really important to providing you guys a good quality. The internet should be keeping up because we're directly wired in. We should have no reason for the internet to go down. We won't have those same issues we had over Wi-Fi with the phone, with things freezing. The only thing we could have is the 16 gigs of RAM in here decide to crash. But we had, I think, dual graphics cards, so we should be all right in this laptop setup. Okay, so real estate books. Also, Cash Flow Quadrant, fantastic. Robert Kiyosaki, though he sells a lot of salesy material, I think some of his books are fantastic and they're very inspiring. Tim Ferriss is the 4-Hour Work Week. I know a lot of people say, oh, it's like there's no practicality to it, et cetera, et cetera. But I find that when I listen to you can listen to the book for free, or you can find it online. You could use my Amazon affiliate link in the description if you guys wanted to buy the book there. That'd be cool. I get like probably a couple of pennies. But yeah, so those are some good books to check out. There's some other ones in the description from Bigger Pockets and other places like that where I like to find my information. But honestly and truthfully, most of the information I've learned today has come from networking with other people. And so that's where been a lot of the value that I've received is through talking to someone who's done this strategy before. So if there's a local meetup here in London, we have local meetups every single month. We have Bigger Pockets meetups, chapters in London. I'm one of 4 founders for London on Fire, so I'll open a plug London on Fire. Fantastic group. Come check it out, guys. We have between 50 and 60 members that come out to the monthly meetups, and there's 750 or 800 people in the Facebook group. And that's a great place. We talk about frugality, financial independence, and retiring early, but there is a bit about real estate in there. given that a lot of us, actually all of us founders, are big into real estate as a means to unlock FIRE quicker than traditional equity investing. Okay, let's see if I can get some questions banged out here. Orange Juice, how you doing? Is the quality you're finding, perfect? Chung Chan likes boobies. Okay, that's exactly what I expected from the 15-year-old YouTube crowd, to jump on the channel who are not subscribers and just be troll. But that's cool. That's cool. I was trolling, when I was 15 too. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, let's see if I get through some of these questions here. Tommy, what are major fair housing laws you must follow in Ontario that may not be obvious? I don't know what you mean by fair housing laws. Like when you talk about, there's like the landlord-tenant board, right? And then they basically enforce all of the RTA, which is Residential Tenancy Act. And the Residential Tenancy Act here in Ontario is very similar to a lot of the developed nations. Like, a lot of the states in the U.S. have similar rules. Like California has similar kind of strict, I think, rent policies to Ontario. Places like Australia, a lot of other countries have very similar policies to Ontario, Canada. And ours is very much like we can only increase our rents to a guideline of inflation like 1.8% per year, which is very, very low. Inflation is actually moving way faster. Rents have been moving 10 to 15% in my local market in the last year, and rent controls lock everything at 1.8% increases. So that's made it difficult for landlords, and they call it fair housing. If you want fair housing, you don't put in a rental license program that screws the landlord out of the ability to make a profit. They've regulated things like railing, the width between railing spindles. One time I got caught for 4.5 inches. Oh no, a baby's head could go through that. It's like, this house was built that way 50 years ago. You want me to rip the railing out because it doesn't comply to your current code today? Yes, on all rental properties, they're making us do crazy things like that. There is no grandfathering. There'll be a random nook in the basement that doesn't affect egress escape at all that's 6'4". And they're like, oh, that's under 6'4" in that spot. Failed. You can't rent this unit out. Close it off and sign this agreement that you will not rent this out. So stuff like that here in Ontario is really, I think, they call it fair housing. They're trying to make it safe for tenants, but it's really, it's getting to the point where it's really absurd. And it's actually making things less affordable and less fair for tenants, because now I'm not going to take a risk on someone who's, for instance, landlord might not want to take a risk on someone who's on Ontario Works, which is our Ontario social program. I mean, they're on welfare, right? Social assistance. Those type of people where I could take a chance before and just evict them if they're ended up being a bad apple, because it's nearly impossible for me to evict tenants here in Ontario. And you can do it. There are strategies that I use to evict tenants, but it's difficult to evict tenants. And because of that difficulty, I won't take the chance on someone like that. I just won't rent to them. How is that fair? Well, I'm going to protect my investment. I'm a business owner. My rental properties are my business, and I'm not going to take that risk with someone who has a 50% chance of defaulting or destroying my unit. And so that might sound prejudiced, but let's say I was hypothetically a landlord in that situation who's been burned before. I'm going to be very, very selective. I'm going to rent to people who have $100,000 in income, great assets, are willing to show me their bank accounts. And yeah, that violates privacy law, but only if they don't offer the information to you. If you ask and they offer it, you can say, hey, you'd strengthen your application by including a credit report. Go to creditkarma.ca.com, you get free credit score. So I make them go on their app and they show me their credit score. Like, yeah, I've been 758. And all the good tenants will do that. The bad ones are like, no, I don't want to show you my credit score. Okay, I don't want to rent to you, right? That's my choice. So stuff like that you can do to insulate and protect yourself for your business. Here in real estate, we have a product that pretty much sells itself. It's very easy to rent a rental unit out and get top market rent. The challenge is in managing that relationship. We provide services and we need to not be screwed over in that process. We provide a safe, clean place for them to live. If they destroy our houses, we need to fire them as a customer. So that's the difficulty, because there's regulation on, you just can't fire someone. You just can't give them their money back the same way I could if I was selling them a product at Walmart. Black, how you doing? Hello, I make $1 million a year. Very cool. What do you do to make $1 million a year? I would love to hear about that. $1 million a year is 7 figures earning. It's a target of mine the next year or two. I'd like to get to that point where just have 1 year where I earn $1 million. That'd be very cool. I also have a goal right now of reaching an 8-figure net worth, just something that's kind of out there. It doesn't really have anything to do with FIRE, and it doesn't at all increase my standard of living. It's just more of a scoreboard, just something I can do because I can. So let's go down here and get some more of these chats going. Okay, gonna catch up on some of these chats. Should I, and by the way, Tommy, if that didn't answer your question sufficiently, I'd love a follow-up. I promise I'll get to it here. We're trying a new format where I'm watching on the screen the super chat. So it's something that's kind of new to me, right? And so I have to look down now on my computer. Instead of I used to look at my phone, it would come up, and I would see the chats. So slightly different process. Run I-86. Should I pay out my mortgage or save up until I afford 20% down payment for another house? Run I-86, it depends on a number of factors. For instance, can you pull capital out of your current property? If you can and or are planning on doing that, said with a refinance, for instance, then paying down your mortgage further, you'd get all that capital out when you went to refinance, or at least, yeah, you get all that capital out. Not even 80% of it, all of it, because you'd be paying down the mortgage balance, and you get all that back on a refinance. So you could pay down the mortgage and you'd be effectively saving your current interest rate after tax, which is fantastic. An after tax return of say 3.5% isn't bad. If your mortgage is at 2% fixed, maybe not a great idea. Maybe you can get a little bit higher return even in a savings account. Tangerine Bank, TD Bank here has a promotion right now, 3% interest paid until December 31st on new deposits. So you can get some great returns just in savings accounts at no risk. CDIC, government insured, capital up to $100,000 per bank account. So if the banks fail, the government has to back that capital. So you're completely safe. That'd be like the risk-free investment, even I would say safer than T-bills. So that'd be an option for you. It depends on whether you're going to refinance. If you're not going to refinance, I think it might make a little bit more sense to save the capital, keep it out. If you don't have the ability to get another mortgage or refinance because you have no income or you have bad credit or certain reason you can't refinance. Okay, so hopefully I'm still live. The live button just turned off on my camera, but I think I'm still streaming. Someone let me know if I'm still streaming. The camera seems to have stopped recording, but I think we're still live. Can we test that?
I think that might have been.
It might just been the card filled up. It says the movie has stopped recording because the card is full. We're good. Okay, everyone's still alive. Never mind. We are good. This is the first time. We were actually recording this whole thing on the SIM card while we were streaming it, so it just filled up the card. Thomas, you screwing with me? Why did he end it live? This guy. Okay, so back to the question of, do you save inside your debt product or do you not? And I think it makes a lot more sense to, depending on your certain situation. So if you have a place you could park that money and make 7% in some investment vehicle, or you can invest that in something. If you're flipping cars or something, you can invest in that. Or you have a local business you can invest in. You could lend that money out to someone, say 10 or 15% during that time. Then the opportunity cost of that money is too expensive to use paying down your mortgage. I'm not actually an advocate of paying down a mortgage, because as you pay down the mortgage, right, the capital you have in that property increases over time. And as capital increases in the property, what you'll find is your ROI goes way down, right? So if you bought a property in cash, your ROI would be terrible. So you want to refinance the capital out of that property to get a higher return, ideally. Sometimes you have to hold in cash for certain reasons, and I get that. I've bought properties in cash to flip. It's something that, if you're going to renovate a property and then flip it to the bank, so get a mortgage put onto it, then you might buy in cash and decide later on that you wanted to put a mortgage on it for higher than the purchase price. And we've done that before on deals, within a few weeks. So that's one way to pull your capital out and have no capital in a project, and we do that quite often. Okay. I'm gonna get up here and get some more of these questions. Scrolled up. Okay, here we go. Catching up with some of your videos. Congrats on your new place. Thanks, Cassie. Appreciate that. Hope everything's going well. We haven't connected in a little while. Let me know what's up. Drop me a private message. It'd be cool to connect again. Thanks for tuning in. You'll probably notice that the quality, from a few months ago to today has significantly changed. We've got way better quality, way better lens, camera, gear. We got a couple lapel mics. We got preamps. We've got it all going on. So totally different light kits. We got 3-4 light kits going right now, so that's kind of cool. And the whiteboard's been really cool. I got strategic whiteboards in my house now, in my other office, which it's been great having these giant stick-on whiteboards. I actually got them. There's a company that did these. Let's go see. Come in a little box like this. They're kind of cool. They're called magnetic boards. Very cool. If I could take this camera with me, which I can't because it's all on a tripod behind my whole setup here, but I could take it and show you. And they just come out of this canister here, and there's like 20 of them in there, and there's like 3 or 4 that are stuck here. Now this one's a little bit, I've been doing a little bit of renovation in the house. There's a bit of dust, which has caused them not to stick quite well. but they're great for dry. It creates a dry erase marker whiteboard, basically wherever you want, which is really cool. Yeah. So by the way, guys, if we want to do any numbers, we could do numbers. We could write on the whiteboard. We could do some stuff like that. I have a hard time reading the chat all the way over there, unless I grabbed it on my phone. But anyway, so these are kind of cool. Check them out. Everyone who's been in my house lately is like sees them. I have them all over. I have like 8 of them attached together in this giant whiteboard that's like 20 feet by 8 feet high, and we have all of the properties listed out. We have the current work funnel. We have all the to-do lists, and when something comes up on a property I have to do, I just write it on the board. And my partner walks in. He lives in the property. He walks into the office and says, "Okay, these are the 5 things you need to get done today." Tells our maintenance guy. We have a full-time maintenance guy now, and he gets a list for the day. And we're looking to hire more actually. We're hiring a few more people to bring on to the team. So we want a few maintenance guys to be running all of the issues, so that I can sit at home and just dispatch on my phone. That's ideal, right? So yeah, that's kind of what we're trying to do, is build a business that's more automated, and that involves a little bit of technology, a little bit of bringing some really cool apps into play where you can clock in at a property and document exactly what happened at that property. Clock out at the end of the year, you can pull all the maintenance calls from that property, stuff like that we've been looking at getting into, and that's going to help, I think, improve the efficiency of the business. Let me know, guys, if the audio is still good. If it does cut out at all, that'd be cool to know. If I need to adjust my lapel mic up or down, I can adjust it up. I can adjust it down. I'm adjusting it there. Yeah, so cool. Great question. Totally right. G1 Mercury says, Alan K, how you doing? Tommy, what are the main documents you prepare when leasing a property, and what are your key things you include in them? Here in Ontario, we have the government put out a standardized lease. So we have to use the Ontario lease. We can't use our own private leases anymore, which is a bit of a bugger because it's such a long document. It's like 20 pages long with the addendum. And you have to basically each and every time go through all 20 pages with your tenants, unless you send it digitally, in which case they call you, you have to read through them, all of the documentation. They're like, well, why is this paragraph here? And I'm like, hey guys, I didn't even write this. This is the Ontario lease. Go to the Ontario website, take a look. It's to protect you. It's to protect us. It's really there to protect the tenant. It's not really there to protect the landlord. They're just trying to standardize things. I have my thoughts about the Ontario standardized lease. I have a nice addendum on the back of mine. Things like late payment charges, not allowed to be charged anymore. I go ahead and put in my leases prompt payment discounts. So, if my unit's rented for $1,500, I say, hey, there's a lot of competition. We're gonna rent this unit out for $1,600 to you. They say, okay, I'll pay $1,600. I say, but it's gonna be $1,500 after the discounts. They say, okay, cool. So their lawful rent is $1,600, but of course there's a prompt payment discount of $20 or $25. There's a discount associated with keeping the unit in a cleanly state, after which if I inspect the unit and see things are not clean, I will send a cleaner in. They will get a $50 they have a $50 discount to their rent. They will lose that discount effectively. I put in there for pets as well. I say if you have a pet, if you don't have a pet, there's a $50 discount. Now I'm allowed to offer a discount. I can't discriminate against people with pets, but I can say, hey, I don't like cats and dogs. There's another unit with allergies. I put in here $50 discount. And if I see they get a pet, they call me, they say, hey, Mike, I want to get a cat. I can now say, that's no problem, because I can't actually stop them from getting pets. In Ontario, they're allowed, they have the right to a pet. We can't stop them. Even if it's in the lease, even if it's in an addendum, we can't stop it. They have the right to that pet. But I can say, hey, you remember in the lease there's a $75 discount for no pets? You're going to lose that discount if you get a pet. And so that $75 acts as a deterrent, or it gives me damages down the road 2 years from when they leave. I'm getting almost $100 a month from not having a pet. That's $3,000 in my pocket. So that's something you can do to build into your leases. A lot of landlords don't do that. And as a property, if you have good property management, they're putting these things into your leases. They're looking up your best interest. And so I do a lot of that now. There's some new strategies like lawn care. And I don't do any lawn. I try not to do any lawns on most of my properties. I get the tenants to do the lawn care and the snow removal and the salting. I'll provide shovels and stuff like that. But I'll set up separate agreements with my tenant. And you can also do the discount thing if they don't follow through. But anyway, that's a whole story we could talk about when it comes to property management and strategies for running things effectively here in Ontario. But the discount thing is pretty sweet because you basically change their lawful rent higher. And if everything goes to the landlord-tenant board, the rent is like $1,700 instead of $1,500 for their lawful rent. Even though there's all these discounts that are applied, the adjudicator always looks at the lawful rent. So you jack up their lawful rent higher than even market in many cases. Actually, in a lot of almost all of the cases, I'm getting top market rents for my unit, plus I have those discounts that bring it down to top market rents. So it's kind of that balance. Okay, so those are the main documents that go into a lease. Fabs, thank you for the haircut compliment. We did try to do it ourselves. My wife tried to fade it in, but it's I don't know. We're trying it out. It's better than Bush City that was going on for a while there. DIY cost me $0. Cost me a hug and a kiss. So it's basically free. When you sell a JV property, how does the capital gains affect both parties? Michael Chung says. Okay, Michael, good question. Okay, so depends how you structure your joint venture, but typically if you set it up in a way where it's two private individuals, right? You've got two private individuals who each own this property privately, not in a corporation. For said example, theoretically, it would be you would split, it depends on your split is. So you could decide your split was 60-40. You have to be consistent in your split. But if you decide at the start of the property project that everything was split 60-40, then one person would pay 60%, one would pay 40%. Each person would have a T776 form filled out on their tax return here in Ontario. And effectively, they would each take their portion of the profit and pay tax at their own personal tax brackets. That's if you own things personally. You would each take the income in and deal with that. That's the way I deal with it. So if I'm at a 50% tax bracket, it doesn't punish the investor. Even if they're on title, we can still split profit. Even if they're 100% on title, I'm not on title at all. If we have a joint venture agreement, we can each, to the CRA, claim our proportional ownerships of the property and split profit, proportionally, call it 50-50, whatever you want to call it. And I would take a percentage of profit. So that's something you can do as well. Something totally there to do. What is this image? I'm so confused. How to? Okay, I'm not gonna read that one out loud. You guys are troll, man. I don't even know what this is. Okay, next question. Is it worth providing the furniture, TV, internet for certain tenants and asking them for higher rents? If so, what tenants and how much extra does it bring you in monthly rent? I assume mostly tenants. It depends. Like almost the answer to every question you're going to ask me on here, guys, it does depend. There are no absolutes. There are only ranges. And one of those ranges is the clientele you're dealing with. So, for instance, international students, they value furnishing of units, TV, internet, utilities all included, and a flat screen 50-inch on the wall with a couch. They will pay you $100 more per bedroom for that setup. Like I can literally get $75 to $100 more a bedroom with a 50-inch that I picked up on Kijiji, picked up on Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji, a TV for $100 and mounted on the wall. People walk in, oh wow, got a nice flat screen on the wall. Ooh, right? It's a little bit of art, stuff like that. Like the flat screen TV is a big one. It's like I put that in a unit, I get $50 more a bedroom. We'll go from 450 to 500, 550 to 600, that kind of thing, depending on the area of town I'm in and how nice the units are. The bigger the bedrooms, the more bathrooms, like the ratio of bedroom to bathroom affects rent prices dramatically. If you have an ensuite right now in London, you can get $750 for a bedroom. I know people get $700 for a bedroom if they have an ensuite washroom. So just a bedroom with a bathroom right on it, huge value. So I always add cheater entrances to my bathrooms. So there's basically, and Aiden, I'm going to tell you about that if you're still watching. It's one thing you could add to your floor plan. You can have a cheater entrance. So then the person doesn't have to walk, outside. If you have a door going to the washroom and another door off the bedroom to go into the bathroom, you can lock both doors. But the nice thing about that is you can say to the bedroom you're posting, hey, this is an ensuite washroom. Boom, $150 more a month. And people they like to be able to walk. They can lock the exterior door to the hallway and go between their bedroom and lock their bedroom door and go between the bedroom and the washroom naked. Or they can, it's just really nice, right? If you have a girl over or something, you want to go to the washroom real quick. Everyone values that, right? The girls value it, the guys value it. It just is a thing, especially in the student market. People just value having washrooms. They value like that extra, convenience factor, right? Same thing with like quartz and nice backsplashes and stainless appliances. Small things like the stainless appliances in a unit change the market rent drastically. I can get a stainless steel fridge used for about $400, a nice one. I can get a white fridge for about $250, $300. So it's $100 difference, and I'll get $50 more a month in rent. The ROI on that is like infinite percentage, right? Like it's going to pay off itself in a month or two, and then the ROI is infinite, right? When you get 1,000% ROI, why wouldn't you spend that? Dishwashers, washing machines in units, things you need to add it. Like those are things that I like to add in too. But in some areas, people have their own furniture, right? And they don't value furnished units. So it depends on your target market. Furnished units tend to do better. That's why Airbnb market rents are so high. People furnish units really nice. It's short term. So those are a play too you could use. You could do the short term rental market. You don't even have to go through Airbnb to do short term rentals. You'll have more success, I think, through Airbnb, but you don't have to. I did short term rentals before. I used to do 4-month student terms, and I would charge my students $800 a month. and I would just put it on Kijiji. 4-month term, 8-month term for school, $700 a month. People will pay it because it's short term, and they like the flexibility of not being locked in on a lease, and it's the same flexibility they get from Airbnb. That's something to think about. Okay. Is it worth providing furniture? We did that question. So now we're at, okay. Patel says, what were your top side hustles that allowed you to gain the most amount of income? So Patel, I've always been a hustler, and I love the side hustle, just like I love the main hustle. I think for financing properties and for maximizing cash flow and everything, you should have a main hustle, like a job that you do that pays the bills from your 9 to 5. But if you can, if you're in school full time, you can't work a full time job. You can't do two, right? You could, but you'd have to have really flexible employer hours. Some of the side hustles I've always loved. Kijiji resale has been huge for me. I used to buy phones, used to buy iPads, and tablets were fantastic. I could pick up an iPad mini for like $150. Just someone posted it up quick, no pictures. I'd message them, they send me a picture. I'd go drive over, grab it, $150. I'd put a nice case on it for $10 that I'd buy some cases on Kijiji too. Put a nice case on it, be like, nice iPad in case, take lots of pictures, do a nice description. Somewhere they can feel safe, they come and get it from me. They don't have to meet me in a sketchy location, and they'll pay me $250 for that iPad, for instance. So that was something I used to do to make like $100. I would do like 3 or 4 of those a week. I would one night a week I'd go on a buying spree, and then another night a week I would just go on or I would kind of sell them as I went. I'd bring them to work with me, and someone on my lunch break would come drive by my office. And I would sell it to them, get some cash. So I did a lot of flipping stuff. Just buy things, go online, go on your Facebook Marketplace, go on to Kijiji. You can flip anything. I flipped cards, I flipped hot tubs. I did cars before, your personal car, you can flip it, and then you have no cost for transportation. You can drive a car for a year because you bought it so cheaply. You sell it after a year of depreciation for more than you bought it for. So your cost of transportation is zero. Same thing with like my phone. All of my phones I buy, I have an iPhone 7 right now. I bought that on Kijiji for $220. I can sell it right now for $300. So I can sell my phone for more than I bought it for. And so assuming I don't destroy the phone, or I can repair it in some way if I do drop it or break it, get a case, guys. Very important to get a case. But you can use things for free. My laptop too. I bought a laptop for $400 brand new on a super Black Friday sale. Sold it for $380 after 3 years of using it. So your depreciated cost is almost nothing if you're flipping items. You buy them. This is what I'm talking about, cost control. Like most people would say, oh, I need a new laptop. Whatever. I'm going to go to the store, spend $1,000 right now. I don't want to worry about it. I don't care. Whatever. I'm going to go in and say, let's find that laptop, spend like an hour of my time, hour and a half of my time, find the most efficient way to get a laptop, and get it for like $400. Maybe I have to wait a week or two. I gotta spend an hour or two looking at some flyers, going Craigslist, Kijiji, whatever. Take a little bit of, you can even buy it new, I can get half price new just by searching Flip app for a laptop. Something so easy most people just don't do. Something that's so easy, save a ton of money. When you're renovating, same thing, you're renovating a property. I'm getting things like way cheaper than everyone else. Like I just picked up a shower for 50% off, beautiful glass shower, 12 by 24 tiles, half price. My drywall, they have a sale on, it's half price for Black Friday. Of course, I'm gonna stock up. What I'll do is buy stuff, and I'll buy like 200 boards of drywall, which is a ton. And I'll set up like 3 deliveries, the furthest date out they can deliver it. So it'll be 3 weeks out. And then a week from then, I'll call and say, hey, I need to change the delivery address. So I'll deliver it to another address 1 week later. You can kind of delay and make the warehouse, like Lowe's and Rona and Home Depot, make them store your stuff for you. They don't like to do it, but with contractor accounts and stuff, you can always call and talk to the manager, say, hey, I just need an extra week. Can you deliver this next week? And so you get effectively 4 weeks to add to that order with all the sales. So by the time that order ships out 4 weeks from now, all of my materials on there have been at least a 25% off. And I sort of make the warehouse store everything, and then they deliver it to site. I get free delivery because I buy so much with those guys. So they drop like my drywall lumber right into my garages with a skid, right into the property. So that's been fantastic for bigger purchases. Cost control. It's something that I talk to so many guys who are killing it. Like I talked to a guy who's got like 100 properties in the US, and he doesn't do anything for cost control. These people, they're like, yeah, my contractor buys the materials full price. I don't worry about it. I want the stress. But if they just were to even hire someone to do that job, like call it a purchase optimizer, they could save themselves tens of thousands of dollars a year and make their business way more efficient and revolutionize the industry. It's the reason that I'm able to do things like my wealth is growing quickly. Like I'll be a decamillionaire in no time because I'm just doing things like 10% better than everyone else. You just have to be 10% better and try like this much harder, this much better, right? And it'll have huge compounding effects. Like $10,000 might not sound like a lot to someone who's got $1 million, but over the course of 100 flips or 100 properties, right, do 100 times 10,000. Now it matters, right? Now we're having an impact. Now we're talking about $1 million. So it's it does add up and it does compound. Cost efficiency is so important. So anyway, that was a long tangent about side hustles. And one of the side hustles is flipping stuff. Anyone can do it. Like a lot of my friends used to, like, you can flip shoes. You can flip, pick something. Pick something you know something about. Like I know tech. So I can look through a phone really quick. I can whatever. You could flip cameras. My original camera on this channel, I could sell right now. My original a T5i Canon was my original camera. I don't use that camera anymore. Came with a kit lens and we got a nifty 50 for it. I can sell that whole kit right now in London for more than what I paid for it. So I had a camera for 2 months on the channel where I was experimenting with you guys, and it just cost me a deposit of like $600, and I get that deposit back. So why rent things? Like you can honestly get tools. I would go buy a circular saw for $40, use it for like a year or like a couple months with the blade on it, and sell it with the current blade on it, and it cost me no blades, no nothing. It's the example of like just cost efficiency and cost hacks. So you can use cost hacks as a side hustle. And that's been one thing I've been able to do, is that as a side hustle. What other things have I done? I used to tutor on the side. I did a lot of tutoring. Groups of 2 were great. I would do really well on the course, then show everyone my transcript from that course. Everyone wanted me then to tutor them. And that happened after I graduated even. The year after I graduated, I was tutoring a second-year business course on, it was actually an accounting course, case-based course. You'd read a long case and you have to basically solve for different accounting problems, doing financial statements like income statements, balance sheets, cash flow statements, and a lot of analysis and qualitative discussion. So I did a lot of that, and it was like $25 an hour. If I tutored 2 students, it'd be 25 times 2, so I get $50. Or no, what I would do $30 an hour, but if it was multiple students, like if 2 friends got together and I tutored them, they each got discounts. So it was 25 each, so $50 an hour. Groups were always the best way to tutor because you made way more money. But that's another thing that I picked up, just a side hustle, and all I had to do was just read the course book, become familiar with the material. What else? Like other side hustles I picked up. I had a job at Tim Hortons when I was 15, working as a baker, and I picked up shifts on the weekend. I worked at the government at the border crossing, and I would drive back from school and work part-time, do 2 12-hour shifts on the weekend. So I would put 24 hours in on the weekend, then I would tutor and I'd go to school. So I was working 35 hours a week, which is like a full-time job, all the way through school. And that allowed me to save a ton of money and graduate debt-free from university, from college. So that's been huge value add. Yeah, Michael Chung, you got a point. Economies of scale is key too. As you get bigger, one roof makes things way more efficient. It's cheaper to replace one roof than 50 different individual roofs, typically. The point is also illustrated with, I go to a contractor and say, I want you to do 10 roofs, $1,500 a roof. He'll do it. He would charge me $3,000 to do one roof. But because I'm giving him so much business, he'll say, you know what, I can make $500 a roof. Then I don't have to worry about quoting the job. Like if he goes out and quotes 20 different houses and 10 people go, or 2 people end up hiring him, that's a lot of time driving around quoting jobs, getting materials, dealing with one client, one person, just way easier. I do the same thing. Like if someone comes to me, they want to buy a whole bunch of stuff, give them a discount versus selling individually. So economies of scale are huge. You can create economies of scale with only 1 or 2 properties. Just by, like, if you have a garage or something, you're going to buy more properties. I buy my flooring 10,000 square feet at a time, 2 skids worth usually. So that's sort of one way that I'm able to, I don't know, that's part of economies of scale, right? King Gagatos Nanos, iPods are gay. I only use Alcatel. Alcatel's a disgusting brand, but that's cool. I mean, it's cheap, it's frugal. I'll give you points for that. Way cheaper than the iPad, but if you pick up the iPad for like $100, I mean, it's not bad. From a cost perspective, get a lot of value. I do like the Apple ecosphere. I run, like, I'm a PC guy, don't get me wrong. My laptop is, of course, like, Windows. I'm a gamer, so of course, why would it be on Mac? It says running Boot Camp, which I don't do. Macs are too expensive. Like the iMacs and stuff like that, I find are too expensive. I'm a big fan of the PC because, like, the hardware that I'm getting in the MacBook for $1,000, I can get for $500 in a PC. I have dual graphics cards, 16 gigs of RAM, i7, quad core. Like I have everything going in this laptop setup, and this laptop cost me $500. Now, if I had that same quality gear, same quality hardware on a Mac, I'd be paying $2,000-3,000. So I don't know, that's sort of just a preference thing. Okay. Some people are trolling. I like that. Maybe because we're in HD, we're picking up some new audience members, which is cool. I'm down for that. I should also, I didn't get to it. Next time we'll try and stream to Facebook Live too. I have my tripod set up over here. I could stream to Facebook, but it'd be a lot to monitor. I'd need a moderator to watch the questions on Facebook Live, but we could do that too. We're gonna get to 5,000 friends on Facebook, which is kind of cool. I'm adding basically anyone who's interested in like real estate or business or investing. Just gonna create that network of people that cross-pollinate and share information. I love when my feed has on it a lot of business stuff. In the morning, I just scroll my feed and it gets me motivated. I'll just look for like the motivational, like Gary Vee type memes and stuff like that. It really gets me going, gets me juiced up. So your network does help you build your net worth, and the people you surround yourself with and the information you surround yourself with factors in a huge way to what you do with your day, who you become, all these sorts of things. So okay, cool. Let's keep going with the questions. Aiden, by the way, really appreciate that $5. I keep seeing that super chat there. It's cool. YouTube's gonna take like half that, but whatever. It's all good. I appreciate the super chats. I'll take that $5 and get myself a big jug of juice, organic juice, at the local market, and it'll be delicious. I'll think of you when I drink of it. Sound ties to the video. G1 Mercury says very cool. Everyone's saying it's looking good, sounding good. So we're getting that 1080p quality. Hopefully, we're getting that crispness. I wonder if I get closer, if you guys can you actually see like the facial hair? I have a little goatee. I shaved clean here, but I have a little goatee going to like. Is the camera that crisp that on the old streams you couldn't see it, but like you probably can see like my everything, which is really cool. It has this really nice setting we have on right now, which kind of creates like a twinkle effect behind you, and your face stays zoomed in. I love the Sigma art lens; it's fantastic. Picked it up on Amazon, I think for $1,100 or $1,200, and so actually Kyle bought it, and I bought it from Kyle. I'm such a frugal guy. He went and bought it, and then once he bought it, I feel like I had to pay him back. So he helps me to buy better equipment, and he's been doing great editing, great quality. I don't know where he went. He was sitting here before, but he's somewhere in my house right now. He's actually moving in. You guys saw my last video. He's actually moving into my old house. So he's gonna house hack and set up a really cool situation there where he can live for free and focus on the things that he's passionate about. You can basically get your living cost to zero with one good house hack. So that would allow him to free up a lot of time to focus on the things he loves instead of paying rent to someone and having to work to pay rent. So that was the whole thing we've been architecting. The people in my circle, most of them have figured out a house hack. Most of them don't need to work within a couple of years because I'm so focused on the freedom aspect, and it's big for me. It should be big for you guys too. If you're working a job you don't enjoy, you can basically unlock fire in like 2-3 years. You could architect a situation if you're a single dude or single female where you're living basically for free with relatively little capital requirements with a rent hack. I did an ebook, a small little ebook on my website, 25 and free. If you check out like one of the last couple of videos, you can click on it. It's free. Just download it, put it into a Word document, save it as a PDF, put the PDF up, so you guys can check that out. It's got some like cool FAQ on house hacking and rent hacking. If people are interested in that, I make no money from it at all. I just figured it'd be cool if people were reading my stuff online. What are some minimum qualification requirements you set when screening your tenants? Tommy asks. Income to rent ratio, credit score, no past evictions, references. Yes. So wealth is the most important thing to me. I like to rent to tenants that have something to lose. If a tenant has, or a person in general has nothing to lose, you don't want to do business with them. And that sounds cruel, but it's totally true. A person has to have something to lose, or they are a huge risk factor. Well, there's some like stuff on the lens. I need to clean that lens off. Just noticed that. I don't know if you guys can see that little smudge. Whatever. Being OCD here, this is attention to detail. I'm very meticulous in everything that I do, right? And so I want to be the best that I can be. We're talking about tenant screening. So back to tenant screening. First thing, the most important thing is make sure they have something to lose. All of my tenants are free and forthcoming. All my good tenants are free and forthcoming with their bank statements. So do you have a savings account? TFSA, tax-free savings account. Show me your savings account, your investment accounts, your bank account. Would you show me 60 days in your checking account? Every single good tenant will show you that. Every single one I've ever had that showed me those things has turned out to be a good tenant. The ones that don't show you that won't show you their credit score, won't go onto creditkarma.com and show you their credit score right there live. The ones that won't send you their bank statements. And I'm cool. I'm like, black your account numbers out. I don't want to see any of that. That's cool. Just show me like some transactions here. Often they'll show me around their phone, their bank balances. And the good tenants have thousands, a couple $1,000s set aside. I like that more than I like income. So a guy that makes $100,000 a year with nothing, like no savings, that's a risk factor to me. He's living on the edge. And if things go bad, if they lose their job, which I've had that happen to a lot of tenants before. I had a guy making like 50, 60 grand a year. He lost his job and I had to evict him within 3 months. It was so sad. The guy had great income. There was nothing wrong with his application, but I didn't factor in savings. He's like, I don't have any savings. Like he's like, I got last month. I'll get your first month of my next paycheck. The guy made good income. I was like, well, I make 60 grand a year. You know, I could take a risk with, you know, this guy seems like a good single dude. It's just a bachelor apartment. He could probably afford it. No, he lost his job and he's out of money within weeks. And he had to move to another place. He had to move back in with a family friend. So that's an example of like income. The banks rely, and this is a rant I'm going to go on for the next 2 minutes now. The banks rely too much on income. The new stress test rules, you guys have saw that in Ontario, they have more stress test rules for people who put more than 20% down, which is uninsured mortgages, which is stupid. If you're putting more than 20% down, you're putting 30, 40, 50% down, there should be less risk. You should get, the lender should be more likely to lend to you, right? But unfortunately, here in Canada, the government has got together, the regulators have got together with the CRA, the tax collection, and said, we want rich people to claim more income. We want people to have jobs. We don't like this FIRE movement. We want everyone to be working in the economy. We want us to be paying and declaring tax, declaring income and paying tax. I suspect that's why they've put this new legislation in. But basically, this is what's happening. Talked to a mortgage broker about this. There's a guy who had $3 million in net worth trying to buy a $500,000 house. He's like, I can buy it in cash 3 times over. And you want, he's like, what if I put $400,000 down and you give me a $100,000 mortgage? They wouldn't give him any mortgage because he didn't show any income. He's wealthy, rich, but they would prefer to have someone who's broke with no money. They're stretching them to the max to put the down payment down, but they have $100,000 a year income. They see that as safe for repayment. Truth be told, it's a lot easier to lose your job and lose your good paying job than it is to lose $3 million. Most wealthy people don't want to lose their money. So I think the banks are making a huge mistake. They should be lending preferred rates to people with high net worth. There used to be these things called high net worth mortgages. And I still got a bunch of high net worth mortgages. It's fantastic. You don't show any income. Like very little. You snapshot and show them your wealth. Now, credit unions aren't regulated by the same body, right? It's federal versus provincial regulation. So the credit unions can still make those sort of exceptions and still lend, but the big 5 banks in Canada can't now. This new legislation is terrible. They're making it so that you have to declare income and have 2 years of stable declared income to start getting mortgages, which makes no sense. If you're wealthy, you should be able to get a mortgage. If you can buy the house in cash, you should be able to get a mortgage on it for 50% loan to values. I'm getting on a tangent and a rant. Talking about back to tenants. Wealth matters more than income. People prioritize income more than they should. I think income doesn't matter near as much. People lose their jobs all the time, especially in recessions. You don't want your portfolio to be at a huge risk of in a recession while your tenants lose their jobs and can't make payments to you. My tenants have 2 years rent in the bank account. So if they lose their job tomorrow, it's okay, right? Even if they don't have a job, they're looking for a job. They got 10 years living expenses set aside in savings accounts and they're willing to put a couple months rent down. That reduces my risk drastically. I have tenants say, hey, I'll give you 6 months rent up front. Their parents write me a check, right? That's the kind of tenant I'm looking for. Of course, I'm going to ask them questions like lifestyle. First thing I say to my tenants, oh, hey, I love dogs. Big cat and dog fan. And I'm not really huge, like I love dogs, but anyway, I say, hey, I'm a big cat and dog fan, this and that. Like I had lots of dogs growing up, and it's true. I say those things, and the tenant immediately opens up if they have a pet. Like, oh man, yeah, I got like 2 dogs and a lizard and a cat. And if I would reframe the question and say, hey, like we have a no pets policy, do you have a pet? They're gonna say I don't have a pet, and then move in with a pet, and there's nothing you can do. So it's all about the questions you ask, and so that's part of the tenant profile. With my international students, a lot of them coming in, they're paying $30,000, $40,000 a year for tuition to attend here. They're not going to screw it up. They're going to pay their rent. They're afraid to be evicted out of this country. They want to move to Canada and immigrate. So those tend to be really good tenants. You have other issues with the cleanliness with some of the international tenants, not understanding how to use the plumbing systems here. And anyway, I'm not going to get into that whole strategy. There are many strategies you can use to place tenants. Better quality tenants tend to be wealthier tenants. That sounds like discrimination. In my experience, all of the tenants I've inherited that aren't ODSP, Ontario Disability, Ontario Works, Social Welfare, most of those people, like not all of them, but probably like 70% of them default on rent, destroy my units, call me with problems. The wealthy tenants, they call me and say, hey, we had a plumbing leak. We got a plumber in. Is it okay? Like you spent $100. They solve the problem for me. The poor tenant's like, I have no money. Don't come to my unit. Next week you can come in. Like they're just, they have more problems, more issues. And I'm generalizing and stereotyping, but if you're trying to pick the best tenant, I can't say, I don't know if I'm legally allowed to, like, as a landlord, if there's a tenant that I don't want to rent to, I hypothetically just ghost them, or give them a response and say, hey, there was a lot of applications, I didn't go with your application. I would never say why, because it's discrimination. So don't say why you're rejecting tenants. Not smart advice, I would say, but do what you're going to do. Landlords do what they want to do, and a lot of landlords have bad tenants and they have horror stories, and it's always entertaining to listen to them. I have my own set of horror stories as I learned and been through the ropes, and I inherited a lot of bad tenants, and I've been through the ringer with some bad tenants that I inherited on properties. So that's what that's all about. Love to know more about your new house hack and other examples that you may know of to house hack your dream house. Okay, so this one I think should be huge. I expect this video I'm going to do is going to be getting a lot of traction when I walk through my house. Once I'm done getting it how I want it, we have a lot of work still yet to do. The property, so give me like a month. I'm dealing with that right now even. Okay, so what is the plan? Plan is take this house, turn it into an 8-bedroom, 4-bath. Effectively going to have a back unit where my business partner is going to live because it's like a business house. And then I'm considering in the lower, like this house is built with 2 kitchens, so it's got like the house is built with basically like a Portuguese house. So Portuguese always like to have 2 kitchens, so it was kind of designed already to be not a duplex, but it has a secondary dwelling unit kind of built into it back from the 80s. And so I'm just working with what's existing here. So I didn't need to get any permits to convert to new because it's all grandfathered. But that's effectively like the lower 3-bedroom unit, which I could effectively rent on Airbnb for $33 a night each. So I get $100 a night on Airbnb. Theoretically, it would be $3,000 a month. Or I could rent it out, market rent to a guy or a couple down there for $1,200, $1,300 a month. There's a back suite as well, 2-car garage. Awesome house. I'm going to live in the 4-bed, 3-bath, main floor, and the front half of the main floor. I have my business kind of in the back, like an office in the back, and my business partner. And then upstairs, I've got an ensuite bathroom off the master, and then another guest room, and my daughter's room, and then we have another soaker tub bath that's kind of like our spare washroom. So big house, but an example here in London, Ontario, it's over 3,300 square feet finished living space. So big house, 2-car garage, 3-car wide driveway. Great, huge wraparound house deck. So that's kind of my current house. And it's not even the dream house. Like I still have yet to go even further with the dream house. I had this idea for this castle. There would be like this really cool house hacking castle where the mortgage is paid for, property taxes, utilities. I live there for free. And I'm going to refinance it and pull my capital out. So I'll have no money in the house at all, be 100% on created equity. And the mortgage will be self-sustained by parts of the house that I rent out. And house hacking is all about basically, like, I don't like basements, just me. Even though my basement downstairs is like almost 8 foot high and has great, it's gonna have great egress windows and all this kind of stuff in it, right? It is a great space. I just don't like basements personally. And so I always rent my basements out. Same with like, my garage. I'm only using half of it. My business partner is using half of it. So it's just using like pieces of my living space that I don't use. I'm just gonna rent them out to cover the costs. Because most people live in like 55% of their living space. So what are they doing with the other 45%? Most people don't even go into 45% of their living space. If you put a GPS on someone and watch them walk through their house on the floor map, you'll see most people don't use 45% of their living space, at least. So especially in a big house. So why wouldn't you find a way to monetize that and cover your mortgage, property taxes, utilities, all of that? So that's sort of my thoughts on that. How did I find it? This one's actually not an amazing deal, just an MLS deal, realtor.ca. Negotiated the price down a bit, but I thought it was kind of underpriced for the potential of the house. Because in this area, right where I live, there's not a lot of houses this size. This was the biggest in this vicinity, unless I go across the road, in which case they start in the 500s, 600s, 700s for the same amount of square footage. Like per square foot, this is a brand new house, it'd be $700,000 for this house. But I picked it up for $415,000. So $415,000, not bad. Quiet crescent. It's got a really cool like roundabout, so like no flow through traffic. We're on it has like an island kind of thing, and the subdivision goes around, and we're kind of like at the end of this like crescent, which is fantastic for flow through traffic and for my daughter going out to play in the winter. There's a big they pile of snow in the middle. There's like a toboggan thing and lots of walking trails. So for me to find this, what I found, I think this much space, I'd have to pay a lot more in this area of London, which is one of the higher income areas of London. Let's keep going with these questions here. Let's bang these out. Okay. Trying to scroll up here, find out where we are. Orange Juice says 720p clear, grade A, my dude. So I wonder why it's not 1080p. We're actually filming in crisp 1080p, but for some reason I think maybe it's going through the software and coming out 720p. Maybe that's like a thing with my cards in the computer. So I'll have to watch the playback and see how it works. I did turn the relay so you get faster connection, but it's going to be worse for the playback. So it's going to be better for us to live stream, but not as good for the playback. So maybe I'll try next time doing a little bit more latency a little bit more delay between like what I'm talking to and how fast it's getting to your computer, and allowing YouTube to buffer it better for the playback. So we'll try that out. Okay, cool. Lapels better. Where was I talking here? Cassie's question. Okay, there's Cassie's question. Tommy says, I apologize to the flood of questions. Hey, Tommy, you know what? Bring the questions. It makes for a great Wise Wealth episode when you bring the good questions. I just call it live Q&A every time because we talk about different things every time. It's basically centered on what questions you guys have around personal finance or around a lot of it's real estate. And that's cool because I'm an expert in real estate, but I also love to talk about personal finance. So people want to talk about spending less, strategies to spend less. I like to try to weave that in, right? A lot of it is how do you spend less and what's the lifestyle? What's the retirement lifestyle like? And, talking about, because at the end of the day, FIRE is a lifestyle choice. And it's one that I'm a huge proponent of. I think everyone should embrace the FIRE lifestyle, but it's not for everyone at the end of the day. And so that's something you got to think about and find out what you enjoy and that kind of stuff. Okay, sounds good wherever you are. Kira, thank you for the question. Aiden says lapel's good. Tommy says for the flood, he's correcting himself. I'm totally stealing your tiny house idea. I love staying there last year. Cassie, yeah. The tiny house is a sweet concept. It's a tiny house studio, and you have to be very careful. I didn't disclose this on here, but I was actually the city brought me to court. I had to go to trial for renting out an Airbnb, the tiny house studio. And they sent an undercover agent who went and stayed and built this whole case against me and went after me for $3,000 times my wife and me for both people on title. And so they went after me for $6,000. And we settled. I paid $615 to the city as a fine. Because there was a zoning issue, they said you have to have a permit for human habitation in the unit. You can use it for your personal use, but you cannot rent it out for someone to sleep in. That was the ruling. Human habitation was defined as someone sleeping in it. I was going to fight it, but the cost for a paralegal and a lawyer was more than the fine ended up being, so I didn't fight it with the city. The city of London, they do not support tiny houses. They do not support secondary dwellings. They do not support it. There's no zoning, and this is a residential area. They do not allow, even if I wanted to apply to get a zoning permit, they would not allow it. So it's one of those things that's grandfathered, but it's for personal use. So be careful is my word of advice, word of caution. Use it for personal use. Make sure you get the proper permits and zoning. If your municipality is not in support, don't let your municipality find out. Don't have nosy neighbors that call the city on you 5 times a day. Make good friends with neighbors. And sometimes even if you're friends with them, they still screw you because they're old, retired, and have nothing better to do, which was my case. Anyway, that was a whole rant and a tangent. I wanted to do a whole social media thing on it, but I was worried the city would come down even harder and get a better crown lawyer to come in and just nail my ass to the wall. So I didn't fight it. I pled guilty and asked for a lesser sentence. Said, hey, I've stopped doing it. Sorry, I'll use it for personal use only. That said, you could theoretically still have all your family and friends who come to town stay in it, and you could do something privately, but just be careful on the Airbnb aspect. My city specifically was not down for Airbnb of tiny houses. They are completely against it, and they wanted to make a case out of me by taking me to trial. And I didn't give them the chance. I pled guilty to lesser sentence and settled. So they didn't get the chance to bring the media in and do this whole hoopla. Okay. Alan K, very cool. 114. I need to spend more time. If I had more time in my day, I would watch more Bigger Pockets episodes. I guess I've sort of picked up most of what there is to know about investing in real estate just from doing it so long and from talking to so many people who do it. But there's still always nuggets. I watch these episodes, and at the lowest or the worst case scenario, I come out of it with, hey, wow, that's motivating. That guy's hella motivating. Or this topic idea, I need to double down on this idea. Or, hey, you know what? Why are they doing it this way? I do it this way, I do it better. So I should be milking the hell out of that strategy. So yeah, very cool. Jason, how you doing? Thanks, appreciate that. Are you enjoying the quality you guys getting out of this 720p, 1080p? I'm streaming from my camera direct through wired connection through my laptop. A really cool setup going on. Dual cameras or a dual audio setup. So we're not going through the phone like I normally do. I'm using my laptop here to do it. So hoping that it's coming through loud and clear for you guys. Okay, next question. Sorry about the fair housing laws. To clarify, I meant things like discrimination, not renting to people because of kids, race, disabilities, etc. Tommy, yes, there are laws like that, which is why I would say you have the right as a business owner to choose the best applicant. Now, you can't discriminate based on race. You can't say, I'm not going to rent to a guy because he's black. I'm not going to rent to a guy because they're Aboriginal. I'm not going to rent to someone because they have 12 kids. not going to rent to someone because they have a face tattoo. I'm not going to rent to someone because they're, gay. Like most of these things actually aren't correlated, right? Like some of them are correlated. Like a black person, for instance. I have some great tenants who are black, Aboriginal, Chinese, Indian. I don't discriminate against any race. I discriminate on quality and caliber of tenant. Now, there are certain risk factors, like someone with a face tattoo. More often than not, I know I can't discriminate, but more often than not, there's a higher probability of something going wrong at the property. So you can't base your decision on that. Like, I mean, if I had someone with a face tattoo who said, hey, I have $1 million in the bank and $90,000 a year in income, I mean, I'd probably rent to them. But what I've found is that most of the people with those face tattoos tend to have poor income, social assistance, 10 kids. You can't discriminate based on kids, but imagine, like, I would say something like, I just wouldn't give it. Like, honestly, if you were to reject someone, don't open yourself up to lawsuit. Which is why, like, I'm speaking in hypothetical. I never discriminate. You could hypothetically discriminate and do whatever you want to do, but I wouldn't disclose why you didn't choose an applicant. You could say, hey, I got a lot of applications. I didn't go with your application. Thanks, bye. That's a nice, polite way of saying no, thank you. You can also say, like, I have people go back to me and say, like, why are you not renting to me because I have 12 kids? And they'll respond back in like fury, like, I want a showing of this place. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I've already conducted all the showings that I can handle. I've got my 6 showings lined up. Sorry you didn't make the cut. And I don't have to show them. Like, they think this is right to be shown the unit. If I have other qualified candidates, I can choose those candidates over this candidate. So, I mean, of course, as a landlord, you should choose the best tenant for the unit. That's your right. You can't discriminate based on race, color, age, etc. But you could hypothetically think about those holistic factors. Do you want to rent to someone? Just be careful what you say. You don't want to open yourself up to liability. Cool. Hope that answered your question, Tommy, without getting me in trouble and sued. Don't ever, like, yeah, I mean, it's your choice. Rent to whoever you want. But make sure you know you're taking a risk when you rent to someone that doesn't have great income or doesn't have a lot of assets, right? And it's totally fine. You can do that. There are a lot of low-income housing initiatives that work just fine. And people get good rents and they slum out their properties, and tenants who are really poor, they are rough on the units, and the units change over more often, and et cetera, and they get less profit, but that's cool. Some people like to run social enterprises. I like to run my real estate for maximum profit. And that's okay. That doesn't mean I can't still provide good housing for quality caliber tenants. I want the best tenants to have the best places to live. And I like to cater to that top 20% of people. That's just my target market. And that's cool. That's my right to do that. What do you do when you have a tenant move out and you find some damages, like broken fence door, they hit with their car, broken handle off another thing I've seen, blah, blah, blah. I was doing this for a while. Okay, so yes, damage is natural. There's wear and tear, which is like permittable by the tenant, and then there's excessive damage. Like they move out and they drag their metal bed frame against the wall, which I've had a lot of. That is damage. And you can go after the tenant for damages in small claims court if they won't pay you. They almost never pay. The tenants ghost and they're gone. I charge cleaning fees. My tenants still, most of them don't pay. I wish they would. I wish you could go after them for damages and get paid. There's a fee to apply to small claims court and time associated. So unless the damages were like $2,000 or $3,000, I would never waste the time in small claims court unless the tenant pissed me off. Like there are such situations where I have gone after a tenant over less money because I wanted them to pay. Like they were smug, arrogant, and they deserved to pay that. And so you can garnish their wages and go after them in small claims court. That is the medium. Once they've moved out, it's not a landlord-tenant board issue. Once they've moved out of the unit, right, you've been moved out of inspection, they're gone. Now you have to take them to small claims court for the damages. So unless, like, here in Ontario, you can't technically take a damage deposit, but you could deduct it for last month's rent, I guess, if you work that out with them. There are strategies you can use to get back the damages. But at the end of the day, sorry about that. At the end of the day, try to just pick good tenants because damages suck. What do? You suck it up and you make it a cost of doing business. So a lot of times, it's over here. A lot of times what I found is that the best tenants don't do damage. Only the bad tenants tend to do damage. And so you got to screen for the certain commonalities in those tenants that do a lot of damage. And it's often correlated to income. It's correlated to wealth levels, unfortunately. Not always. Also, it's correlated to like parties, like if they're like partiers, drinkers, drug abusers. Those people tend to have higher risk factors. Now, not all of them are bad. You can't discriminate because you can't say like, you could never say something like all black tenants are bad. That's not true. There are a ton of great, African American or Aboriginal or Chinese or Indian or white or whatever, Caucasian, whatever, Eastern European, pick a race, right? Russian, pick a country, pick a race. There are people from all different types of walks of life. Now some have higher risk factors, and you can't stereotype based on those things. But full review the 15th, Mr. Beefy says. They moved out early but already paid for last. Okay. Oftentimes tenants will write off, they'll say, don't worry about the last 15 days of my rent. Here in Ontario, if they move out early, they have to give you a certain amount of notice when they move out. So if they say, I'm moving out tomorrow, you can keep their last month's rent. In fact, you can go after them for up to 60 days of rent. They can't just disappear. Though there are tenants who do that, and I say, here's your last month's rent back, please leave. I'm so glad to have you go, just get out of here. But that's a choice of you taking a bad debt expense, right? You're actually taking the expense of losing that revenue just to have them out. So that's something you got to think about. Cassie says, let them know more about converting a single family to a duplex. The zoning bylaw just changed in North Bay to allow secondary suites anywhere in the city, and it looks like a good opportunity. Yeah, so to be careful, the secondary dwelling legislation can't be more than 40% of the square footage of the house, and it's pushed out by Ontario. London municipality here, the City of London, has been resistant. They've been putting up bylaws to resist, saying you can't in the student areas convert houses. But the legislation from the province supersedes the municipality, because they're pushing down, hey, everyone has the right to a secondary dwelling unit for their in-laws, for their kids. Houses are more expensive. You can't stop people from putting in secondary dwelling units. So the states are starting to get on board with that. They're now requiring fire inspections, proper building permits. You still have to comply to all the codes of normal duplexing, but you don't have to do the zoning changes. You just have to do like fire separation, egress windows. For instance, if your basement's 6'4" on the main escape out of even if it's 7 foot everywhere else, but in one area it's 6'4" on the way out the door, that would impede egress and make it so you can't have a legal secondary dwelling unit. So a lot of houses aren't compatible when the municipality stacks on their codes, right, of what's required. And unless it's already there, you might get grandfathering if it's already there. You can take it to the city council. There's a variance committee that you can get appeals. And I've appealed things like a ceiling height only being 6'4". You can go appeal that, and they'll allow it and grandfather it in many cases. So don't just give up because the municipality says, hey, property standards shuts you down. You can actually take it. There's a minor variance committee in most cities. You can go and fight and get the property standards or the city officer, bylaw officer who send out that infraction. You can often fight that and get it overturned, and then you're safe, you're grandfathered. So there are options that you can explore. How do you decide on layout changes to a rental property, and do you have a ratio of rental budget to projected gain equity? Aiden, great question. It's very project specific, so it depends on the area for the property. You don't want to over renovate in a bad area, right? There are certain renovations that won't add any more value. So that's a good example. We've got a unit that rents for $1,600 a month. It's a 3-bedroom. Now it's at the top of the market. If I were to put in, say, another bedroom in this area, it doesn't add any value. Like this unit or like a 6-bedroom, for instance. You had a 7th bedroom or an 8th bedroom or 9th bedroom. There is no more value because the city will not allow you to rent more than that number of bedrooms. So it doesn't sometimes add any value. Now in Windsor and stuff like that, guys are doing that. They're putting 7, 8, 9 bedrooms. It's actually against code. You can only have 5 bedrooms in a unit. So all you do is just lie and tell your tenants you only have 5. You can never admit that you're renting out more than 5 bedrooms, or you're breaking the law in that area. So no matter where you are, I think in Ontario, it's 5 bedrooms per residence. You can do, if it's duplex, you get 3 bedrooms per unit. So triplex could have 3, 3, and 3. We have a nice triplex closing very soon, next week or two. That's going to be right near Western University. It's a legal triplex. 3, 3, and 3, plus a 2-car garage. Really excited for that project. Picked up like $300,000. It's going to rent for like $4,700 a month. Great 1.5%, almost 2% roll. Really excited for that deal. But that's an example of like fully legal 9-bedroom in a house because it's a legal triplex. 3 separate kitchens, 3 separate units, fire separated, etc. So that's something to consider when you're renovating a unit. Think of what would these changes do to my rent profile. So adding a dishwasher, unit laundry might not add rent. It might. I don't know. It depends on your area. If you're next door to a laundromat, it might not matter. What I've always found is you get better. If you don't get more rent, you at least get a better tenant profile. Which tenant profile means less damages down the road, less headaches, less time, less chance of default on rent. So the better tenants, they want laundry. Like the good tenants, they want laundry in the units. They want a dishwasher. They love en-suites too. So if you can put those sort of things in your unit, you'll get the top tenant. You'll be marketing to the right tenant group. And though you might not get more rent because the top tenants are very discerning on what they'll pay, right? Some of the ODSP or the social assistance people aren't very educated, so they'll just pay whatever you tell them rent is. But the higher end tenants, they know market rents. They'll go look at 10 places. They're not just going to look at one place and sign. The lower end tenants will do that, look at one place and sign. Often places, higher end tenants, you're competing against multiple listings, multiple, quality properties. So if you have that everything on their checklist, you're going to get that best tenant, that best profile. And there's value in that, even if it's not exactly in ROI. It will translate to ROI, I think, down the road, in that you may not get more rent, but you will for sure get like less bad debt expense. Like they'll pay their rent on time. They won't damage your unit when you move out. They might stay for a long time. And how do you factor those things into your equation? I think you should ask yourself the question, what is my tenant profile I'm trying to attract at this property? What type of tenant do I want to attract here? Is it families? Is it students? Is it a bachelor? Is it a family with 3 kids? What do they want to see in this unit? And then design the unit for them. So I design my units to be friendly for my tenants. So when I go and I think about, as you do some showings on units and learn, you get feedback from tenants, and they'll say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Sorry I didn't go with your place. You didn't have this, or you didn't have that. And next time I renovate a property, I'm going to put that in. So just thinking about all those things, I think has an impact. So that's one way I design layout changes. I tend to prefer open concept to closed concept. I like it when my living room, dining room, and kitchen are all open, and then my bedrooms are segregated off. I like my bathrooms near my bedrooms. That's a good way to lay out a space. Certain basic design fundamentals, a lot of natural light. If you have small windows in a place, you can put long drapes over the windows and let the light shine through. It gives the appearance of a bigger window than is actually there. There are just little tricks, like paint colors, huge. Light, bright paint colors make a big difference, making a space feel bigger. You do contrasting colors, like maybe dark cabinets and light paint and light floors. Or you might go dark floors with super light walls and modern white glossy cabinets and light countertops. Or you do like light counters and dark cabinets, or dark cabinets and really bright, nice white countertops and backsplash. Just contrast is really in right now. I don't think you want to go too crazy with being too trendy, because things go out of style and then you have to renovate again in 10 or 15 years. So you want to future-proof, but at the same time, think for optimization for someone living in the space. What is the most efficient way for you to design the space? Use the square footage in the best way possible. Oftentimes you have enough storage, but people overvalue storage, and I prefer to have open concept than a couple of, like sometimes it'd be 3 closets, and I'm like, these closets don't add any value in the space, but a bigger open concept kitchen would add a ton more value. So it just depends on the space. Like you don't want anyone to walk in and say this is a small kitchen, or this place feels cramped, or it just depends on the space. Like when I walk into a space, I know right away what I need to do. And so, yeah, if you want to, for us specifically for your unit, we'll have a call, and I think we'll do a Skype or something, and I'll walk through so I can get a feel for the space and give you some practical, tactical ideas and strategies. How long does it take to build your credit score? Thomas, great question, Thomas. About a year, I would say, to build up a proper credit score. So you start at 18, by 19, you could have a proper credit score. If your credit score is destroyed, you can gain 150 points in a year. Totally possible. Depending how beat up your score is, you can gain more points than that. You could improve 20, 30, 40% in a year. If you're already maxed out like 760, 770, to get to 850, again, take you about a year. I've had credit bounce really, like I've applied for 3 or 4 mortgages in a line of credit all at once and dropped 70 points in the span of a week. And then a month later, I paid them back down and my credit jumped back up within a few weeks. So sometimes it can be very quick. It depends. If you look at the algorithm, I have 2 videos that talk about the credit score algorithm and what the weighting percentage factors are in the algorithm. And we know that it's out there. So just game the algorithm. You know what they're looking for, and you know what areas you aren't doing well. If you've missed a bill before, you get a late payment, you just don't do that. Start paying your stuff on time. Your credit score will come back. If you're overutilizing your credit, you should never use more than 30. I think it's 35% of your available credit. That's all you can use. So if you have a $100,000 line of credit, you take more than 35,000 of that drawn down, it starts negatively impacting your credit score. So what I would recommend is maybe get more credit opened up. And when you first open credit, it's going to hurt your credit score a little bit, because then your utilization ratios will get better, so that'll help your score. And if that was your thing that was dragging your score down, opening more credit up while opening new applications will decrease your average length of credit open, so that'll hurt you in that department. That department is a smaller percentage than credit utilization. So if someone's got all their credit utilized, I would say go open another line of credit for 50 grand and spread the credit out. So one line of credit isn't maxed out. You have 2 lines of credits that are 50% utilized. That's way better than 100% utilized, right? So opening that new credit would decrease your average age of credit accounts you've had open, which is like 10 or 15% of your overall score. So that area, opening new credit products will negatively impact you there, cost you a couple points, but the utilization will be much, much better because you won't be 100% utilized on one line of credit. You'll have 2 or 3 lines of credits that are each 33% utilized, right? And so that's redistributing how you're using the credit that you're already borrowing. And that has a huge impact on your credit score. One line of credit drawn down all the way and 2 empty lines of credits is very bad. Interestingly, if you're drawing down your HELOC all the way, 100%, that negatively impacts your score. But if you go take a mortgage out, it doesn't impact your score. It doesn't look like you've utilized all your credit with a mortgage. It's weird how the HELOC negatively affects you if you use it all. So if you're going to use all your HELOC up, or more than like 50% of your HELOC, I recommend just going and get a mortgage on the property and doing the Smith maneuver and taking the capital and investing it. Anyway, on a tangent, I'm going to keep going with this. Okay, new topic. Hello, Mike. I make $1 million a year. I'd love to hear how you make $1 million a year. That's sick. That's awesome. Cool. Share it with the group. What is your opinion about sex toys? Kinagagos, Manos. I have no opinion on sex toys. It's not something I talk about on the channel, so this would be like my personal opinion. I don't know. I got some friends who've used sex toys, and some of them enjoy that stuff. We're talking like for men, like the pocket pussy or whatever, and the dildos and stuff. This isn't what my channel talks about, so we're just chatting off the record, I guess. I'm also like a big fan of just like monogamous relationships too. So there's that, as opposed to that being single option. And I guess you could mix up sex toys in the marriage too, but whatever. Still live, good to go, still good. Everyone's on. Why did he end the live? You're trolling me. I love it. Colgate or AIM? Colgate, whatever's on sale. Honestly, whatever's on sale. Pick up my toothpaste for like 60 cents a tube. So there's that. What do you think of the big drop in stock prices today, mainly tech? Tommy, I haven't been following the stock market. I am a believer in long-term portfolio theory. So, my phone's ringing over there. I'm a big fan of long-term portfolio theory. So basically the idea being that a permanent portfolio would consist of different asset allocations, and the individual fluctuations or changes in the market don't matter because you're invested for the long term. And I'm going to silence that. Sorry, guys. Phone's going off, and I'm not using my phone, which is nice, so it doesn't count my stream out at all. Okay, some issues I got to deal with an appraiser. Okay. What are we saying here? We were talking about stock prices. Yes, the stock market. Yeah, so I don't follow individual stock fluctuations really, and I don't think you guys should either. You are not, I'm going to like say this to the whole audience, you are not as smart as Warren Buffett. In fact, you are not ever going to be as successful as Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett has consistently outperformed the market. He is the only investor of the one other investor I can think of that has consistently, for a 30-year period, outperformed the benchmark S&P 500. So the S&P 500 outperforms 96% of active fund managers. These are guys who are like, they work on Wall Street, Bay Street. They work at the financial center. They know better than you. Anyway, so I guess my live stream has to end pretty soon. So I'm going to have to end this pretty soon. But let's blitz through these questions because my phone keeps ringing. My wife wants to obviously come in on the live stream right now. So, and that, there we go. Back into focus here. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be my comment about that. Don't worry about short-term fluctuations. If you're diversified, everything at the end of the day, my wife just keeps calling. Give me a sec, guys. I'm on the live stream. What's up? I'm on my live stream. What's up? Okay, bye. Sorry, that was an emergency. Not an emergency. We're all good. Hopefully people are still here. Anyway, I got to blitz through these questions because my daughter's going to come home. We got to do bath time. And family time, most important. We've been on here for a while. But I've been having fun with trying out the new software and blitz through the questions. So I'm going to end it with, you should be diversified and you should have certain asset allocations and you can keep rebalancing your portfolio. But if you own a small piece, you own an ETF portfolio, that owns a small piece of every single company out there, what you'll find is that You cannot lose. On average, you get 17% every single year. You will ride with the market. If you try to invest and build your own portfolio, you will underperform the market long term. No investor beats the market long term over a 30-year time horizon. You're better to join the market than try to beat it. If 96% of active fund managers cannot beat the market net of fees, how can you expect to beat the market net of fees? So you just be playing and basically be gambling at that point. And why would you gamble on other people? Why would you gamble on people to perform to their ratios? Why wouldn't you take things into your own hands? Or if you're investing in equities in which you have no control, you should just diversify so well you own a small percentage of every company on every index. You can buy ETF portfolios that each own small percentages of hundreds of companies. If you owned 10 ETFs, you don't each own 100 companies. You own a fractal percentages of ownership of 1,000 companies from every single country in the whole world. So the U.S. economy gets a bomb dropped on it. That's only like 20% of your portfolio, so you're okay. So diversify, very important. Check out my video I did on the investing strategy where you cannot lose. And that's the one I recommend the most. I'm the biggest proponent of. And it doesn't require you to watch the market or to time the market. It's time in the market, not timing the market. That's my thought on that. Okay, keep going fast. Push-ups or push-downs? Push-ups. It's all about the gains on the way up. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Sugar daddy. Thomas, that's troll. 10 years, I'll probably have 1,000 properties in our company, and everything will be running on its own, automated. I will likely be doing a lot of talks, a lot of YouTube stuff, but I'm going to be focused on my family first, right? So that means I don't work more than 35 hours a week on stuff that I love when I love to do it. Now, I need to be engaged in things. I can't be doing nothing. It's just an active retirement is one where I'm volunteering. A lot of volunteering is me giving back on YouTube. I consider this one of my volunteer outlets. A lot of people reach out to me on Instagram. They reach out to me on Facebook Messenger, etc. And I love doing that. I love giving back. So that's awesome. Great skills such as rapping, shooting, and stealing. Are these helpful? Troll. I mean, you could probably utilize those skills in some way to make money. Probably even legally. Skills are transferable. When did the Ontario lease come out? May 1st of this year. You have to use it. You cannot use the old lease. It's against the law. The lease is not valid, and it's against the law for a landlord to not use the Ontario standard lease. Boy, you talk too much. Okay, cool. Yes, I do. I like to talk. Isn't the max discount like 2% though? Not sure what the max discount. No, you can do a prompt payment discount as much as you want. No, there's a limit on the prompt payment discount, but you can put discounts as much as you wanted on leases. I have to end this fairly soon here, guys. I don't have my door on my office yet, so sound's transferring. We're going to put a door on the office here. And that's going to help a lot. Was that just for rent being paid on time? It's me, Mario. Okay. Do you use any asset protection strategies? Yes. Insurance can be one, but I mostly self-insure. Like I have insurance on my properties. There are some asset protection strategies I can talk about that are not insurance related, but that's for another video. How much time do you spend for your hair? How much do you value? This hair, I woke up this morning after sleeping, and this was the hair. So I literally slept on this hair. I've done nothing to it. This would be the extent of what I've done. This has all been shaved, so a nice and shaved bald here. And then we tried to feather it in a little bit. My wife cut the hair, so I spent $0 on the hair. So this is like a free haircut. That's what you can expect from $0. Do it yourself. How much do you value? I value a lot of things. Family. Missed the question there. Noted. Thanks, Mike. Always sell houses without toilets. No. Troll. Okay. iPads are for losers. I only use a Nokia. Okay. Troll. Ignore that. Okay. Broke my foot with a Nokia. You're the master of money. You continue to impress me. G1 Mercury, thank you for that comment. That was not troll, and that was awesome. Thank you. I hope that wasn't troll. If it was troll, like QQ. Kind of the scale. We talked about that. What do you think of? Whoa! I'm so far behind here, and so many questions. Okay, we're gonna go like fire mode. I'm so far behind, guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's try to bang these out. It's your busy schedule. Do you still have time to play games? If so, you should check out Hearthstone. It's great for on the go. Yeah, it's a good card game. My friend plays it. Did you build your own PC? No, I did not build my own PC. I would like to do that at some point. I'd love to build my own PC. What do you think of the London real estate market? Check out the last 2 live streams we talked about the London real estate market. It's still hot. Believe it or not, things are still crazy. It's not as hot as it was in the spring, but things are still hot here. It's crazy that London's doing so well as it is. Maybe I shouldn't have sold so many properties off. I'd like things to cool so we can buy more properties. I have certain metrics that I have to meet whenever I'm buying properties, and so it's harder to find properties when I don't meet those metrics. So no, I don't have a lot of time to game. I'd like to get back into gaming more, but for right now, focus is giving back to you guys at YouTube and building my business. So to get those key employees set and the key systems in place. Would love to know more about your friend's house hacking? Yeah, we can put you guys in touch. Can you share some more creative financing strategies and pro tips, Michael Chung? Next one, I'll talk about creative financing. Go back 3 or 4 Wise Wealth Wednesdays ago, and I did a 30-minute rant on creative financing strategies. Thanks for the info. Sounds like a cool property. How did you find it? Again, talked about that question. We hit that one up. Crystal clear 720p though. Bitrate seems spot on. I don't see 1080p either on my PC settings. Must be just 720p, but crystal crisp 720, which is cool. For a live stream, we were getting some crappy 480p on the phone before. So this is definitely an upgrade. I think people are going to appreciate this in the playback, the difference in quality. Sorry to hear went sideways. No worries. Agreed. Curly Fries, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you're still on here. Sorry, you're just getting these questions now. Tommy says, great, thanks. I was just concerned about the liability, but thanks for the clarification. Just want to maximize getting the best quality tenant. Yes. From a liability perspective, just protect yourself and don't talk. Lawyer says stop talking. You stop talking. Funny how bad tenants don't usually have the savings if they don't care about losing it either when it comes to the damage. Well, they don't lose it. Yeah, they just don't think for the future. Most of these people don't know how to delay gratification. They focused on short-term gains, not long-term. And long-term delay gratification, you look at the marshmallow study, you'll find that people who are focused on the long-term tend to do 10 times better in life. It's just the way it works. You gotta live for the moment too, but within reason. Wow, what's happening with the viewer count? Anyone else seeing 360 people watching? What? 370 watching? We have 380 people watching right now. What? 1080p? Sick. A+ money. Thanks, guys. This is awesome. We actually have people watching. I can't see. I'm in this weird mode on my computer where I'm watching. I can see myself. I can see the audio things, and I just can't see. I can see the chat blown up on my laptop here. I'm going to get a second screen, plug it in, and we're going to get to watch the viewer count. What? 394. We've been interested in the future to read the free mail. Dan, good to see you on. Big view count, dang, like that button if you learned something. Yes, smash that like button if you found value from this, guys. I had no idea. This is I'm so juiced up now. There are 400 people on this stream. That's sick. Maybe we should be doing Facebook Live too to bring in the people. But yeah, I guess better audio quality, better everything is having a huge value add here. I'm gonna stay on 5 more minutes. My daughter isn't even back yet, is she? She's still with grandma? Yeah, she's still with grandma. My grandma's got her daughter, so my wife's just doing dishes in the background there. We're right out the kitchen here, so I'm sorry if you guys are hearing a little bit of the feedback. We have 400 people watching. You guys need to subscribe. This would be sweet if people would join in. If you're new to the channel, check out some of the content I've been dropping about personal finance and real estate. If you leave a comment on a video, I always respond 100%. If I don't, comment again, and I will get the notification if I missed it, and that would be huge. So really, really appreciate everyone here that's been on the stream. I would love the likes. I'd love the shares. If you want to talk about a certain strategy related to personal finance, that'd be sweet too. I'm down to do videos for you guys. So tell me in the comments what videos you want to see on my channel. Do you want me to talk about what it's like being retired at 25? Do you want to hear more about real estate? Do you want to talk about investing strategies at a high level? I can talk about anything. Basically pick an article from Mr. Money Mustache, any of the personal finance FinCon bloggers, all of that. I've lived and breathed that for the last 8 years. So I know the 4% rule like the back of my hand. I know, the Trinity study and whether or not portfolio will last. So anyway, very, very cool. Big view count. Like button if you learned something. That's right. Orange juice. Yeah. Hit that like button, guys. This is sick. And Aiden just put $2 in the super chat. Aiden, man, I'm excited for the Vegas mastermind. We're gonna be rooming up together, so that'd be cool. Do a little road trip. Sorry, bro. Viewer count was a bug. Now I'm sad. Now I'm really sad. That's yeah. So now the stream's down. It's not 300. It's just a bot. That's anyway. The quality is improving, so I think no matter what, we will actually get to that number at some point. We'll get to a point where we need a moderator to read me the questions. Kyle will be there reading me the questions. That'd be really cool. I'd like to get to that point. I'd also like on a future stream to get to a point where I can get up here on the board and I could talk about something. Like we could workshop something. Someone could say, I got a property and it's X amount of percentage, whatever, 30% paid off. Can I pull capital out? What will it cost me to pull the capital out? Something like that. So again, thanks everyone. 2,000 subs. Thank you so much. The channel is just starting. When we get to 10,000 subs, it's going to be a long hike, long journey. When we make it to 10,000 subscribers, the channel is going to blow up. We have the article for people who are still watching, I don't know, an hour and a half in. My autofocus is going to be like, Mike, where are you doing? What are you doing? Uncle Steve, how you doing? Yeah, so I'd love to do concepts like workshop on there. Someone says, hey, I'm making $40,000 a year. How do I retire in 10 years? Like, let's do real examples on here live. And for the people who catch the replay, because I know a couple hundred of my viewers catch the replay, check out this quality. Yes, I think it's way up. I want to improve the quality of the content now. We got the video, we got the audio, I think, figured out. We're getting 1080p direct streamed right in, hardwired in. We got the 6 set up. To get this live stream to you guys, I'm like $3,000. We're probably like, if you include the laptops and stuff and all the hardware, we're probably like $4,500, $5,000 to bring this quality to you guys. I make nothing from this. Like, we're talking this $2 from Aiden and $5 earlier, which is actually so cool. I love it. I don't make a lot of money from this. What I'm trying to do is get people on the fire bandwagon. I want people to join me in financial freedom, and I would love to get to a point where we get on here and we solve real problems for you guys. If you have problems with your rental properties, let's workshop them. If you want to learn about financial independence, complex concepts related to it, you just want to talk about the lifestyle. Like, hey, what's it like, Mike, waking up? Lately I've been waking up about 8:30, 9 o'clock. But for a while there, was binging till 4 in the morning, eating Haagen-Dazs on the couch, and then waking up in the morning and like 11 o'clock, 11:30. And I can do that. Like, freedom is the most valuable thing I think that you can purchase. And the best part is it's for sale. Your freedom is for sale. Freedom from the work world, freedom to do what you want. Like, this is doing what I want. Building companies and helping people. I love having a network of people that are also hustlers, that also want to grow, and it's just fun. So that's right, fire bus. That's right. Uncle Steve, good to see you on. Glad that you got to see it there. I'm gonna see if I can blast a couple of these questions out here. Did I leave one here? Would love to see a video of Ontario Building Code. Lots of good info there. Yes, we could do another, like, next live stream. We could just talk about building code for 10 minutes. We could talk about, I know most of the regulations from dealing with this with all of my properties, right? About ceiling heights and what is the egress window proper size you need, and what is code for fire separation between units and sound separation between units. And if you have a furnace sharing between 2 units, a single heat source that shares between multiple units, you have to put a duct sampling tube in. It's $500. Some people still believe the myth that you need separate individual heating sources for each unit. That's not true. Triplex can share one furnace as long as there's a smoke duct sampling tube, and each unit has interconnected smoke alarms. That's not even that hard to architect. So why get 3 heat sources? Way cheaper to have 1 furnace running. Economies of scale, guys. Economies of scale. It's all about cost. It's all about profit at the end of the day. And if you can bring in the most revenue you can, but then you focus also on the cost side, you can have huge profitability. My property's cash flow, like $1,500 a month, and someone else's cash flow is $500 a month. And we rent and run the same. Oh, everyone, looks like my daughter's home now too. Read free mail. I don't know what free mail is, so message me a link in the comments after. My mom's here too. We got a house full of people. Grandma's here. Okay. Are people still on? Is anyone still on the stream? Can't see the number of viewers, but the view count, like that button. Read free mail. Free mail must be something to do with market news. Maybe in the morning I kind of digest a little bit of that stuff on my social medias. Okay. 10% tariff on tech units, soon to be 20. Geez. Is that the new NAFTA agreement between Trump and Canada and Mexico? I don't know from what I understand, our prime minister is a huge dog with a tail between his legs, and he's weak. I do not like Trudeau. I'm not a fan of a lot of what he has done. He's a pretty face, and that's pretty much it. He got rolled over by Trump, of course, and the trade has not been good for us in Canada. But London real estate market's still fine, I guess. Day trading over fundamentally trading all day long. Orange juice, I don't know. I'm a big fundamentals, I'm a big value investor. I took a lot of value investing courses with my finance degree, and I'm a believer in value over technical analysis. So like trend trading, if you look at the average if you look at most technical analysis traders over a 20-year period, what you'll find is they tend to get around market returns. So over a 1-year period, you might do really well, but it's like gambling, educated gambling. You'll still end up losing. So why not just try to get the market rates if you can? How do you feel about the U.S. stock market dropping 6% the last 4 days? It's just noise. 20 years from now, we're not even going to remember it. 10 years from now, we're not even going to remember it. My portfolio is diversified, and so I don't care if it drops 10%. If you look, people who bought in 2007, right? This we could do on the board. Let's see if you guys can follow me real quick on the board. So if you followed in 2007, you look at the general market, right? The general market looks something like this over time, right? We have volatility, and it's continually moving in this direction. Now, 2008 looks something like this, right? Oh, I just drew on the wall. Great. If you bought here, you'd say, oh no, I just lost 20%, right? I hit a bottom in 2008, 2009, right? But if you look at the data, by 2010, 2011, if you're diversified, now if you own a number of different companies and you're owning a small percentage of a lot of different companies, what you'd find is that by 2010, you're back above water. So all you have to do is have a diversified asset allocation, right? You're owning a lot of different stocks. You don't just buy like Lehman Brothers or like, you know what I mean? You don't want to buy like individual companies. You want to buy ETFs that own hundreds of different companies, right? Oh, the internet's turned off to it. So anyway, so we've got this, basically the logic is this, right? That value plays, like if you're to individually trade stock, right? You're doing like value analysis. What you'd find is that, hopefully you guys can see this. I don't know if there's a lot of glare on the board. My camera probably has to focus on this. We have snappy autofocus. Find me. It's probably looking for my face instead. What you'll find is that stock price does whatever, right? Market is irrational often. It's not efficient markets. Value is flat. Like the NAV, the net asset value, and the earnings power value, the EPV on a stock, that's flat. That's based on what the current book value is of the assets. That's based on current earnings today. You're not paying for growth. You're not paying for the future. You can value what a company is worth today. Now, when companies start trading way below book value, right, there's a play there. Assuming you believe the company has a catalyst that will allow them to realize again market value. And value investors believe that no matter what happens to market fluctuation, market price doesn't matter, because market price is based on irrational like psychology and market news and noise. It has nothing to do with the actual profitability of the company in a lot of cases. And so it takes in all those factors. So that's value analysis. But anyway, the main point is over here, right there. That within 3 to 5 years after every recession, if you're diversified, your portfolio is back above water. And if you were to invest right before 2008 crash in all U.S. equities, you would be back above water by 2010, 2011. So who cares? Why do you care about market volatility? Even if the market was crashing, people were like losing their houses, it's all just noise. If you're properly diversified, you'll be okay. It doesn't matter. It's just people like to talk. Okay. Anyway. I can see your nose hairs. Whoa. That's some HD quality right there, right? We're streaming, the best quality here. Do you think it's important for your spouse to have a role in your real estate ventures? Yes. Yes, I think it is important for them to have a role in your business and your real estate ventures. Even if they aren't on title, I put my wife on title on a lot of my properties so I can effectively income split with her. If your wife is your partner and she has no income because she doesn't work, you could effectively allocate it. You could say at the start, I'm going to allocate 60% of all cash flow to my wife. You have to stay consistent with that percentage. Or you could say 90% of all cash flow goes to my wife because she doesn't have a job. And you could effectively income split with her because her first $12,000 is tax-free. And income split, because you can't income split in Ontario, there's no advantages to being married, only disadvantages from a tax perspective. It's actually a myth that being married gives you advantages. It does not. Wow, we almost ended the stream and I still have 26 people, which is sweet. Yeah, so I think having your partner on board with whatever you're doing, even if it's fire, you should have your partner on board with that, because it's going to be very hard for you to reach your goal of financial independence and retire early if your partner isn't on board. If they're spending what you're trying to save, right? It's like two opposing forces, right? If you're going out to solve problems and your partner isn't supportive of you solving those real estate problems, it's going to be very depressing very quickly. Our ice machine is going, of course. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, maybe I should trim out my nose hairs. Now that we're in like 1080p with a crisp lens, I really need to focus on getting this appearance. You know, maybe I should like brush my hair before a stream now, because before you couldn't see anything, but now, now you're gonna see everything. You see even my stubble. This is like a 5-day stubble. If we were on my iPhone right now, you wouldn't even see my 5-day stubble because it would be clean enough you wouldn't see. But thanks guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We almost lasted 2 hours here. For those people who are watching now the replay, tell me what you're loving about this video, this audio quality. If you enjoyed the content today, smash that like button. There's a little watermark subscribe at the bottom of all my replayed videos. You click that subscribe button. If you're new to this channel, you click that subscribe button. We're over 2,000 subscribers now. We're growing fast. I need you guys to click that subscribe button to allow me to keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah, eventually I'd like to get this equipment paid back. At least like this be volunteer. I don't want to pay to do, like I actually pay to do this, right? It'd be nice to actually do it for free. You really have to drink water right here in the studio? That's okay though. I know you're trying to rush me. She's really trying to rush me off the stream. I gotta go. Bye, hi, Cello. That's okay. Rip wall. If they don't get fire. Yeah, I'll fix the internet in a sec here. It's because I directly wired. The TV is not direct wired in now. I'll run a dual cable. I'll fix that issue in the future. But we were having troubleshooting issues just trying to get online at 7:04 here. We were like 7:03, and I was like, let's just go live. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Have an awesome week. I'm gonna start hustling again pretty soon here, and I'm going on a road trip. You guys are gonna get to tune into that. Going on a couple-week road trip all across the U.S. So if anyone lives between, I'm gonna go through like Chicago, through a whole bunch of states, maybe Colorado, Vegas, California. If anyone who's watching lives in those places, we should meet up. That'd be cool. I'd be down to go get lunch or just chat, or maybe if you know someone who wants to do a YouTube video, we do some collab. That'd be cool. So doing the big road trip, be 3 weeks, stopping for the real estate mastermind with Wybro and McKeever. They're doing the event there. It's a whole hotel focused on a real estate mastermind. So that'll be cool. And I'll probably do a collab. If you watch the replay, Graham checks out a lot of my videos. So Graham Stefan, if you watch the replay now, we'll do some collabs. I'm gonna come visit you. We're gonna hang out in Cali. And Kevin, of course, Kevin, love his channel. We need to do another collab video. It's been a while since he robbed me of $1 million. That was a good joke. You guys check out that video on his channel, on Graham's channel too. Graham's killing it, man. Like 200,000 something subs. Just killing it. Good guy. Wholesome. Like Kevin and Graham are some wholesome YouTubers. If you love real estate, check them out. Are you getting the RV? Aiden, I don't know yet. I haven't decided whether we'll rent an RV or we'll drive the car. But I'm gonna go now. We gotta end this stream. So it's been a slice, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on the live stream. I gotta go do nighttime with my daughter. As always, guys, spend less, earn more, and maximize returns to unlock wealth for you. Spend less, earn more, maximize returns to unlock wealth for you. Cheers, guys. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video. Share it. We're only getting better. The quality is only improving from here. I will see you next Wednesday, live at 7 p.m., 4 p.m. Eastern, for the Wise Wealth Show, where we talk about personal finance, real estate, and anything related to money. Cheers.